What's up, guys? This is Perry with Perry Plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming at you with my Winamat Dinosaur deck profile. This was a 4-person Winamat tournament, and these dinosaurs carried me to victory on their backs with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno just obliterating everything that stands in his path. So without further ado, guys, let's get into that deck profile, and if you like what you see, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Every like is just a huge encouragement to me. I'm just getting started right now on my YouTube aspirations. I upload rather inconsistently, so if you like what you see, that little bit of positive feedback helps me keep on going. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main deck. I played 40 cards even. So let's start right off with the monsters. I have 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Now, this is the boss monster of the deck. If you know anything about dinosaurs, you know what he does. Basically, you can summon him from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard. And then he can destroy a dinosaur monster in your hand or face-up field in order to set everything your opponent controls. This is great for dealing with stuff like Bestials. He helped me out of Trishula in the last game that I played there, and that came in clutch. He also has an effect that if he attacks a face-down monster at the start of the, I believe it's the start of the damage step, but you get to pay 1,000 life points and just send that monster to the graveyard, so you don't have to worry about any effects that they have to modulate their attack or anything in the damage step. So on to the heart and the soul of the deck. No pun intended, but now that it's out there, I kind of like it. Soul Eating Oviraptor. When he's normal summoned, he can add a dinosaur monster to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And then his secondary effect, you can target 1 dinosaur monster you control, destroy it, and then special summon a dinosaur monster from your graveyard. So basically what that effect does is you have a baby Cerosaurus on field. You destroy that baby Cerosaurus, and then you special summon that very same baby Cerosaurus back, and that allows you to just keep extending almost infinitely with this deck. Next, we have the One of Miscellaneousaurus. I did read it today, and yes, I hate myself for making that joke. Anyways, it has the effect of during the main phase, you can discard it from the hand to the graveyard, and your dinosaur monsters on field are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. The amount of times that this resolved, I pretty much resolved this every single game that I played, and then my opponent would just kind of have to stare at me as I go full combo. But this was absolutely amazing, and then it has the secondary effect where you can banish it from your graveyard along with any number of dinosaur type monsters, and then special summon a dinosaur monster from your deck with a level that is equal to the number you banish. So usually you're either banishing him and another dinosaur monster to special summon baby Cerosaurus, or you're just banishing himself to summon Animadorned Archosaur. I did both frequently, and it was just absolutely amazing. So now going on to the next part of the deck, I played 3 baby Cerosaurus and 2 petite Pteranodon. Honestly, I kind of just cobbled this deck together last night, and actually like 5 minutes before the Winamat tournament started. But seeing these baby Cerasauruses and these petite Pteranodons in your opening hand is really good, because like I said, you can just use the Animadorned Archosaur effect to just destroy him, and if you do that, it's just pretty much off to the races. You definitely want to play 3 baby. That's a no-brainer, because when he's destroyed, he special summons a level 4 or dinosaur monster from your deck. And Petite Pteranodon does the same thing, except it's a level 4 or higher. So most of the time when you're destroying baby Cerosaurus, what you're summoning off baby Cerosaurus is usually baby Cerosaurus. I mean, you will sometimes summon your Soul Eating Oviraptor or your Scrap Raptor. Getting a little ahead of myself there. But sometimes you'll summon those. But mostly it's just baby, pop baby. I mean, Oviraptor, pop baby, summon baby, baby, summon baby. And that way, like I said, you're just extending near infinitely. I'm playing 2 Animadorned Archosaur. When he's normal or special summoned, you can destroy one dinosaur monster in your hand or face-up field and add a evolution pill, spell, or trap from your deck to your hand. Seeing him in your combo is very important because you get to search your double evolution pill, which will summon Ultimate Conductor Tyranno straight from the deck. Now, I built this deck with the intention of going second, but I also did not want it to just completely fall apart going first. So I do have some sauce in there. Probably some sauce that wasn't quite necessary. But right now we have our scrap package. I'm playing 2 scrap raptor, 1 scrap chimera, and 1 scrap golem, aka the fridge. But anyways, on normal, scrap raptor has the effect where you can target a dinosaur, target a monster you control, destroy it, and during your main phase you get to go ahead and normal summon another scrap monster in addition to your normal summon. And then if it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap monster, it can go ahead and add a scrap monster from your deck to your hand. Scrap chimera, when it is normal summoned, you can target a scrap tuner in your graveyard and special summon it. And scrap golem, when once per turn, allows you to special summon a scrap monster from your graveyard. Now golem, you probably don't have to play golem. I had this deck kind of built as a Bish Bulk in FTK, so he was in there, and I figured, you know what, I have other cards that I'd rather cut than him. He came up a few times, helped me extend to other stuff like Appaloosa, helped me extend into Link monsters. Really helped get things going. So, I mean, maybe for a longer tournament, I wouldn't recommend playing him in there. But for a short tournament like this one, it was definitely worth it. So, moving on with the profile here. Next, we have our one of dinos. We have Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This came in super clutch, like my final game of the round there. My opponent zombie worlded me, and it was just like, anyway, special summon Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I just went off a little bit, made sure I had some stuff set up, and then I just tributed and popped the zombie world, and there was really nothing that he could do there. I mean, even if I didn't draw the one of Pankratops in that scenario, though, I had enough materials to make Nightmare Phoenix, so it didn't really come up. Dogoran, I actually summoned this, but not in the way you think. You see, because Petite Pteranodon allows you to special a level 4 or higher dinosaur-type monster, I actually summoned Dogoram. There was no reason for it. I just had a Petite Pteranodon on the field that got destroyed. And, like, I had nothing better to summon off of it. I'd already burned Oviraptor for the turn. I don't play Giant Rex, so, like, there was no point in me summoning anything else off of it at that point. So I just decided, what the heck? He can't Kaiju me at this point. I doubt he's running them. But, you know, it at least brings that extra bit of protection. Next, I have True King Lithosogem, the Disaster. I never saw this the entire tournament, but if you see him with a couple of Baby Ceratosaurus in your hand, it's pretty much game at that point, as long as you don't get it too ahead of yourself and overextend. I wound up doing that once in testing, luckily not in the actual match, so that helped me be a little bit more aware that when you open crazy like this, it necessarily just doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. And finally, Artifact Scythe, the one piece of degenerate BS that, you know, is still kind of left over. I never wound up summoning him. I think I actually sided him out a couple games. Like I said, my plan was to blind second, but he is in here just in case, you know, I wind up going first or whatever. A Scythe Lock, it's just really hard for a lot of decks to deal with, and Dinosaurs is a deck you can kind of really capitalize on that turn skip that you get for your opponent, because if you set up, you know, like a Scythe Lock and your opponent can't play, they're not making it to turn 4 there. They're dying. Alright, going on to the spells. We have Triple Fossil Dig. Sorry about the mismatch rarities. I pulled both of these out of a Brothers of Legend box and didn't pull the third, unfortunately. But what it does is it adds a level 6 or lower dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. Basically, it just says add Oviraptor, and if you don't have Oviraptor, add Miscellaneousaurus. Although I think the one time I did open this, I wound up searching Archosaur off of it, actually, because that was the one that I needed. It was a pretty fluid play. I could have either gone for Archosaur in order to wind up eventually with Misk, or Misk to get Archosaur. I wound up getting Archosaur. In hindsight, I definitely should have gotten the Miscellaneousaurus and led off with that. Anyways, going on to the spells, we got 3 Lost Worlds. I got this in a couple games. My final match was against Bisted, and he pretty much made it a priority to just pop this thing. Well, because if you don't pop this thing, you can't target any monsters on the field. But by the time he popped it, he was already on Miscellaneousaurus, so it didn't really matter. Then I also have the Terraforming and the Dragonic Diagram, which is basically your second and third copies of Lithosogem. Except this one also destroys a baby, getting you there. So that's really helpful, super helpful to get. Just like I said, it's one of the ways that this deck can just pretty much infinitely extend sometimes. The 2 Evolution Pill, 2 definitely did come up. Just like having the follow-up and searching one from your deck to your hand with Archosaur when you already have one in your hand. Because sometimes you just need to destroy that baby Ceratosaurus in your hand in order to get your plays moving. So if you don't have the second pill in deck, you can't use Archosaur's effect there because you've already got a pill in hand. You can't just destroy it for no reason. We got 3 Pot of Prosperity. I never actually wound up using this before my battle phase. And anyways, it doesn't really matter because what this deck is attempting to do, like I said, you're attempting to blind second. So what you're doing is you're hoping your opponent commits all their resources into a board. Then you just absolutely wipe that board out. And then you just go ahead and set up some degenerate combo. Like you set up Dolker or whatever, which most decks, you know, they assume they're going first. So they just, they don't really play the board breakers or anything to even get through your board at that point. So, moving on, we have Triple Forbidden Droplet. I saw this a couple times. It actually came in clutch. Saved me a couple times. I had a Tyranno, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno on field. My opponent had made me go first, and it kind of bricked. My opponent summoned Fenrir, attempted to enter battle and use its effect on attack declaration, and I just flipped this up, got rid of a second evenly, outed his Fenrir, and he was playing Sprite. This was my first round opponent there. He was playing Sprite, and because he lost that Fenrir, he couldn't go into anything else. And it wound up in a top deck war. I had just pretty much been beating him down the entire time, and he wasn't making any progress. And he finally opened his cards that he needed to, but by then it was too late. He had 35 seconds on the clock. He got nervous and missed lethal there. Of course, I probably wouldn't have even been in that game in the first place if I would not have played my double evolution pill in the imperm column. Yeah, that was a mistake that I definitely did not want to do. That cost me the game 1. At that point, I just really couldn't even go on. Finally, last in the deck profile, last but not least, I have Evenly Matched in my main. This actually performed really, really well. I didn't really see it. Well, actually, I did see it, and it kind of helped me alongside of Droplet to get rid of my opponent's Totally Awesome and everything. Actually, the very first game that I played, I opened this, and I was like, I basically went and said, enter battle. My opponent then special summoned something with his new Sprite card, and at that point it's like, okay, well, he's already wasted the elf at this point. I'm gonna retain the use of my battle phase and see if I can kill him. So I did not go into the battle phase, just dropleted like his Sprite red in his Totally Awesome, and from there I kind of just went nuts with comboing off. Next, we're going on to the extra deck. For the Xyz, I play 1 copy of Evolzar Doka, 1 Baguska the Terribly Tired Tapir, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Dugaris. I wound up making Dolka out of all of these. Like I said, it was a really short tournament, so, I mean, there wasn't really much opportunity for me to make anything. No, I take that back. I did make Tornado Dragon to pop a back row, but like I said, that was the game that I played into the imperm column. So, if you're out there, kids, don't play into the imperm column. Next, going on to links, I have Scrap Wyvern, Pentastag. I made these two a lot. Pentastag, F your monster pointing to it, attacks an opponent. You inflict piercing battle damage. So basically what you do is you summon Pentastag, stick Ultimate Conductor Tyranno under it, and instead of just taking 1,000 for hitting a defense position for you hitting their defense position monster, your opponent can be taking upwards of like 3,500 damage, especially if they like run into the Lost World token with it. Scrap Wyvern has the amazing effect that allows you to special summon a scrap from your graveyard, and then if a scrap you control is destroyed, it allows you to special summon a scrap monster from your deck. So usually what you're doing is you're using a scrap Wyvern here to special summon out your scrap raptor, then immediately destroying your scrap raptor, and then you usually like chainlink one Wyvern, chainlink two raptor, and then Wyvern will special summon out the fridge, and then raptor will wind up adding Chimera to your hand. If you don't play the fridge, you just special summon another scrap raptor. It's no big deal, and honestly, sometimes it kind of achieves the same end result of getting another level 4 on your field to start going into your rank 4 plays, or even your Synchro 8 plays, which I will get into later. So also we have Artifact Dagda. You got to set that scythe somehow. Link Karibo, Secure Gardna. This came up, and it especially comes up when you brick, because if you just have an Archosaur on the field, or like maybe it gets hand trapped or something, or you have an Archosaur in kind of a janky pop, this at least gets you to get your Archosaur into Link Karibo, then your Link Karibo into Secure Gardna. Then you can banish the Link Karibo and the Archosaur from the graveyard in order to special summon your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Nightmare Phoenix, I didn't use it, but like I said, I had certainly an opportunity to earlier if I did not open that Pankratops, which was just a much cleaner answer to the zombie world. Reprodolcus, this is in here for some of the synchro plays. I've always loved this card, just the ability to change attributes and just pull off some really degenerate stuff sometimes. Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. I made this, and it kind of ate a branded beast, but it held off it did its job. It made him either choose to destroy the Appaloosa with his branded beast, or a card that you're going to see in a second here, my Borreload Savage Dragon. So he had to choose between either having 3 monster negates on board, which would shut off his Trishula, or Borreload Savage on board, which would shut off his Trishula. So that's it for the links. And the 2 synchros that I play here, I play Borreload Savage Dragon. I made this multiple times. Just make sure you have a link in the graveyard when you make it. I almost went for a synchro, and then I'm kind of like, wait, no, I need to make that a link because I need to have that link monster in the graveyard in order to equip Borreload Savage. But this is just absolutely great. Protects you from cards like Evenly Matched and the other oddball things. Naturia Beast, I never wound up making it, but like I said, it was a 4-round tournament. I expect I would have sometime if I'd have gone first uninterrupted. But basically the idea is if you have a Scrap Raptor on field and like an Animadorn, you get an Animadorned Archosaur, because usually like your last Petite Pteranodon, you don't really have anything to do with it. So if you just instead of going for another baby or another like useless card, you can just like go for an Animadorn, or maybe summon it off Oviraptor. But what you do is you get Reprodulcus to point to it, change its attribute to Earth, and then you've got a Earth Tuner and a non-tuner Earth monster, and there's your Naturia Beast. And your opponent can say bye-bye to all their spells for the rest of the duel. I mean, there's no way they're activating enough spells to mill you out. And even if they did, it is an optional effect. All right, so that does it for the extra deck. Moving on to the side deck. Now, this kind of is, in my opinion, the weakest part of my build here. Like I said, this I just kind of hobbled together at the last second here out of cards that I was playing in the side for my side and main deck for my other deck that I was bringing to the regionals. So first we have 3 copies of Skullmeister. This didn't come up in the tournament. I don't think I ever sided it in. This is just kind of a remnant that I had in my other deck, because my other deck lost hard to Bestials, and I just needed to stop the Lubellion effect. I believe it's the Lubellion, the one that sends something to the graveyard. I just needed to stop that from going off, but I figured while I had it was better than some of the other options I had on hand. Triple Lightning Storm. I never really ran into a back row deck all day long, so I never wound up siding this in. With other things, I suppose it's not that bad, but usually something's going to either not be destroyed, it's going to float when it's destroyed, or they'll just have Toad up, so they just negate it, and then you get Lightning Stormed later if you make any real progress. So I had triple cross out Designator, and I don't actually have it in my side because I put it back in my other deck, but this essentially is a proxy for Infinite Impermanence. I was eating Infinite Impermanences all day in the main event because I went to regionals. I brought actually Crawlers. Leave a like if you want to see that deck, and go ahead and put a comment down in there, and I'll try to get you that deck profile going on. But I did not want to eat another Imperm all day. Of course, since I went blind second with this, one of the downsides is I could never tell if my opponent was going to make me go first, or if they're going to make me go second. Mostly they still elected to go first. Actually, I think I had one guy make me go second, but mostly they elected to go first, and that was much to their disbenefit. Like I said, this deck can almost extend infinitely and can do a bunch of degenerate stuff. 2 Solemn Judgment. Yeah, I don't know why I really had this in here. I suppose it stops an evenly headed your way, but if you've done your combos right, you already have a Boarload Savage to help stop that evenly. Like I said, I hobbled this side deck together at the last second. And finally, the MVP of the side deck, the one I sided in, the one that actually came in use, and the one that allowed me to Dark Ruler evenly my opponent, and it is Dark Ruler no more. If you control, well, you just need to negate the effects of everything your opponent has, and then they take no damage, so you can't really kill them. But that's really a moot point, because after you've had after you've gone through your main combo, wasted all your resources just to eat a Dark Ruler no more, and then have that followed up by an evenly matched, at that point, you've lost the game. There's really no coming back from it. Anyways, that does it for my Winamat deck profile today. If you like what you see, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more extremely infrequent Yu-Gi-Oh content, I'm trying to work on that a little more. But if you want to see more content from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Anyways, this is Perry Plays, signing out.